At the bottom of Lamed Amud Beis, Mar Berei Deravina. Ready? Very last line. You're there, you're on the right page, right on the bottom. Mar Berei Deravina, Ovad Hilula Lebrei. He was celebrating a wedding for his son. Chazinu l'Rabbanon da'avka bat chituva. He saw the Rabbanon that were joining at the Chasana that they were a little bit too excited. The Simcha went a little bit out of the bounds. What did he do? Aisi kasa the mukra. He brought a kais, an expensive glass kais, bas arba me'azuzi, that was 400 zuz, pretty expensive. V'tava kamayu, and he broke it in front of them. Va'atzivu, and something like it. Va'atzivu, and he brought some seriousness to the moment. Ravashi avadilula lebrei. A similar thing happened by Ravashi when he made a chasna for his son. Chazinu l'Rabbanan d'avakabat chituva, and he saw the Rabbanan that they were overly excited, a little bit too much. Aisi kasa, so the zugisa chivarte, he brought also some kind of a white glass, expensive glass. V'tava kamayu, and he broke it in front of them. Va'atzivu, and he brought seriousness to the situation. So Taisus over here says, the first line on the page, Mikan nogu l'shabbos chutchis b'nesuan. This is the source of the minhag today, that under a chuppah, we break the kais by the chasna. I know people usually say that the reason is Allah Yerushalayim al Rosh Simchasi, to remember the Avelis of Yerushalayim. It's possible that it says that Indian as well, but you see right over here that the Indian is that people should remember at the greatest times of Simcha, there's still an Indian that the person has to have. It's a hemshech to the Gemara before, the Gilu B'Ra'ada, that a person should remember that you have the year of the fear of Hashem, the presence of Hashem. Although the hemshech of the Gemara will talk about Golus. So I guess from the hemshech we'll see that there's also the Indian of Golus.
But you said about Simcha.
No, this is good. Huh?
It's not about Simcha.
That what?
It's for the sons, for the...
Yeah, okay.
About Simcha later.
That's a state, that's a complete. Okay. Sagt die Gemara weiter. Amrulei Rabbana l'Rav Nuna Zuti b'Hilula de Mar Berei de Ravina. The Rabbanan said to Rav Nuna Zuti by the Chasana of Mar Berei de Ravina himself. Okay, before it was his son's Chasana, now it's his Chasana. Lishri Lon Mar, sing us something. So they didn't know what he was going to sing then. Amalahu, so he said for them the following rhyme. Vail on the misnon, vail on the misnon. Oy wait to us that we're going to die, oy we're going to die. Amri lei, so when they heard that, so they said to Manane Basrach, if you're so concerned about the day that you pass away, so what should we say after you? Amalei, so he said to them, hey Teire v'hei mitzvah de magna alon. Where is the Teire and where are the mitzvahs that were Mekayim, that if you have Teire and mitzvahs, even after you pass away, it'll save you, as Rashi says, from Gehenna. So now the Gemara continues, and here the Gemara will say about Simcha B'chlal and Golus. A person may not fill his mouth with laughter in this world. Only then will our mouth will be filled with laughter and our tongue with joy, with song. When is this? This man only when Mashiach comes, and then we'll show the goyim and show the greatness of what the Eibishter has done. Then a person may fill his mouth with laughter, but not in Olam Hazeh. Amru alav al Reish Lakish. So it was said regarding Reish Lakish, Shemiyamav lo nilus kik piv Olam Hazeh. That in all his days he did not fill his mouth with laughter, which means from when he heard this statement from Rav Yechanan, his teacher, in the name of Rav Shimon ben Yochai, he did not fill his mouth with laughter in Olam Hazeh. So it seems like that this is also connected to the Indian that it mentions before. Now we go back to the halacha that it said in the Mishnah, what kind of a attitude should the person be in when he's davening? A person should not stand to daven Shmoneh Esrei, not coming from a din Torah, judges and a dayanim and a din Torah, not after learning a dvar halacha, and this refers to a person that's learning a sugya where he has to analyze and think deeply, intensely in the dvar halacha. It could disturb his kavanah. A person should only daven if he's learning a halacha psuka. What is an example of a halacha psuka, which would be a basic psak halacha, which doesn't take too much intense analyzing? Amar Abaye, the Gemara interestingly gives there three examples. One is the statements of Rav Zera, the Amar Rav Zera, b'nois Yisrael hachmiru al atzman, the daughters of Israel will machmer on themselves, even if they only see a drop of blood, like the size of the seed of mustard, they wait 7 days to go to the mikveh in order to become pure. Even though minatayr it's not necessary, minatayr there are different halachas of when you do have to wait and when you don't have to wait, but nevertheless they always wait 7 days. And this is a basic, simple halacha without any complications. Another basic halacha, a person may be mairim. He may sort of, what's the word for mairim? Anyone have it there? Be crafty, is that the word?
Crafty, yeah.
With his grain, and he could bring it into his house with the chaff of the tuah. Okay, so Rashi explains the halacha is minatayra, you're not chayiv meiser, not until you remove the chaff and not until you bring it into the house. Otherwise, there's no chayiv meiser, you're allowed to eat from it. But midrabanan, they will misaken that you shouldn't eat from it until you give meiser. But temporarily you're allowed to eat. So you can give your behemoth to eat from this tfuah before the chaff was removed. So therefore a person can bring the tfuah into his house, and as long as his behemoth is eating, which is considered to be a temporary using the food, not because it's not for yourself, and in such a case it's potter from meiser. A third clear basic halacha, Rav Huna said, Hamakis dam bebehemas kochim, a person that's letting blood from a behemoth that was consecrated for hektish. Aser ba'ana, you may not have derive any benefit of it. Umayel bay, and if you let blood from it, it's meila, you're using from hektish. Okay, so even though usually the halacha is that from the zrikas adam from a behemoth on the mizbeach, there's no meila from the leftover blood, but when you let blood from a behemoth that's alive, there is a halacha of meila. Rabbanon, now the Gemara goes back to what we said before about what attitude a person should be in when he's davening. Rabbanon of the kimas nissen, the Rabbanon would fulfill, like it says in our Mishnah, which is that you should daven mitech kovid roish. And Rav Ashi of it kibraisa, Rav Ashi would do like it says in the Braisa, that he would begin davening after he learned the halacha psuka. Tana Rabbanon, we learned in another Braisa, ein dum lispal, lo mitech atzvos, lo mitech atzvos. Person should not daven not out of a situation of where he's depressed, not out of laziness, and and not schoik, where a person is overly excited, which Rashi says over here, sicha means litzonis. What's the word for litzonis in English?
Chatter.
Huh?
Chatter.
Chatter is the word? Okay, I think litzonis is a bit more than chatter.
Frivolity.
Huh? But that's the next word. Not lightheadedness or frivolity. And not idle chatter. So that's chatter. A person should daven with simcha shel mitzvah. Okay, and Rashi says simcha shel mitzvah refers to a person learning divrei Torah that talk about exciting things, like what we actually do. What do we say before davening? Before Shachris, we say the psukim of reminding us of the fact that David took us out of Mitzrayim. Before Mincha, we say Ashrei, which are the psukim that Rashi brings over here. The Tzanyirei of Yasa, the Eibusha listens to and then fulfills the will of those that do his mitzvahs. And then before Ma'ariv, Rashi actually brings the psukim that is not our minhag to say, but in the Welt, they say all those psukim after Hashkivenu, Yiruveinu, V'yismach Libeinu, all those psukim that you say before Shmei Nesra. The reason why you add those psukim is to begin davening mitech simcha shel mitzvah. Similarly, when a person is departing of a friend, it should be not just out of litzonis. That shouldn't be the last thing he should remember of you. And not just of schoik, of overly exciting things that have no teichen to it. Not frivolity, not idle chatter. The part of him, his last memory of you should be a dvar halacha. Now the Gemara continues. The flow over here doesn't flow so well. Some take out the dvar halacha here, but now the example the Gemara is going to bring is l'chayda refers back to the simcha shel mitzvah, where we find this idea by the Nevi'im. Shekeim atzinu b'Nevi'im arishonim, we find by the Nevi'im when they would say their nevuah, and sometimes they would rebuke Yidden and say very, very serious things. Shesimu devreim b'divrei shvach v'tanchumim, but they always concluded their nevuah with words of praise and words of consolation. So therefore, the person also should daven mitech simcha shel mitzvah, and some are actually guided right over here as well, that when you depart from your friend, the last memory you should have from you should be simcha shel mitzvah. The same was also said in his name. You should depart from your friend, telling him Dvar Halacha. This is the way he will remember you. Now the Gemara brings an incident of when one Amayda was departing of another Amayda. Rav Kahana Alvel Rav Shimi Barashi. He was accompanying Rav Shimi Barashi when he was leaving him. Mipum Nara from the place by Pum Nara Abeit Sinisa de Bavel, until a place where there was these big trees, palm trees in Bavel, right? So when he arrived to this place where there were many palm trees there, Amalei, so Rav Kahana said to Rav Shimi Barashi, Mar, my master, Vadai, the Omri Inshi, is it true what people say, Hanit Sinisi de Bavel, these big palm trees here that are in Bavel, Isnu Ma'adam Arishan, are here from the time of Adam Arishan, Vad Hashta until now? Amalei, so Rav Shimi Barashi answered him, you reminded me something. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chanina, what Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chanina said. Oh, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chanina, what is the pshat in the pasuk that it says? The land where no man passed through it. And no person ever settled there. So the question is, it's double lashon. If nobody passed through there, how would it be possible for anybody to settle there? Obviously nobody settled there. Ella rather, what this pasuk is teaching you is, any place which Adam Rishon decreed and said that people will settle here, this Yashva was settled. And any place where Adam Rishon did not decree that people should settle there, Loinus Yashva was never settled. So the way you read the pasuk is, you know why nobody ever passed through there, because Lo Yashav Adam Sham, because Adam didn't decree that a person should settle there. So there's a beautiful Rishimah from the Rebbe on this Gemara here, where the Rebbe explains the whole Hemshchenyan. And the Nekuda B'Kitzur is, the Rebbe says the idea of Yipoter Adam B'Chaveira, the Gemara says in Shabbos, Chaveira refers to the Eibishter. Re'acha v're'a avicha refers to the Eibishter. When a person departs from the Eibishter, in whatever situation it is, whether he walks out of Bismedish from davening, whether he walks away, the Rebbe says there in the Rishimah, from Chodesh Tishrei, going into the winter, there's a Yipoter. When a person departs, and you have to bring along the Eibishter into the place that you're going to be in Welt, so it's through Dvar Halacha. Dvar Halacha has the koyach to bring the Eibusher down into the world. Because Halacha is Halacha L'maisa, the Rotzna Elyon is an Halacha more than in any other section of Torah. That's how you bring the Eibusher into the lowest element of the world. Then the Rebbe teaches over here, this Gemara, the Tzinisa, the bubble that Rebbe brings from other sources, were these palm trees that were very bitter. You couldn't eat any of the palms from them. And there were many, many trees over there, but they were useless for anybody. It was found palm trees. So therefore, Rav Kahana was wondering, could we bring any of the Eibishter's, the meaning of a lakos, into such a place where there's palm trees that have no purpose and there's such a bitterness here? So Rav Shimi Barashi responded to him that there's a plan from Adam Arishan. He says Adam Arishan represents Chochmah Yaina, and he tried to say and bring even Adam Arishan even into this place to draw down Chochmah Yaina even into a place like this. That's the chlolus of Teichen that the Rebbe explains there. But it's a big arichas in the Rishimah. There's many Maimarim of the Rebbe with this Dibur HaMaschal, Al Yipoter. There was a few occasions that the Rebbe said such a Maimah even in his room to people that were leaving in places that they came to the Rebbe after Tishrei. Okay, let's go back. Rav Mordechai Alvel Rav Shimi Barashi. Rav Mordechai accompanied Rav Shimi Barashi Mehagronya, from the place of the Hagronya V'at Kipi, until Beit Kipi. But Amri Allah, and others say Ad Beit Dura, until Beit Dura. So these are various measurements of how far a person should go when he's accompanying somebody to this place, to this place. Something about Avaita Tana Rabbanon. We learned in Abraisa, Harmespalil, Tzorech Shia Chavanas, Libe Lashamayim. When a person davens, he should have his kavana, he has to empty his mind and his heart and dedicate his heart to the Eibishter. Abishal says, Simin Ludovar. We can see a simin to this idea in the pasuk where it says, Tachem Libon. If you prepare your heart before you daven, then Takshavas Necha. Then the Eibishter will listen to what you say. Tanya, we learned in Abraisa, Rabbi Yehuda, Kach Hoyam and Hogesh Rabbi Kiva. This was the meaning of Rabbi Kiva. When he davened was together with the tzibor, he was davening for the Amad, or he was davening with the tzibor. He would daven the kisser, and he would go away from the Amad. Not to take too much time of the tzibor, and therefore he would daven the kisser. However, when he was davening with himself, If you left shul and Rabbi Akiva was in one corner of the shul, if you came back, you would find him in another corner of the shul. How did he end up from one side to the other side? While he was davening, he was bowing and bending, and therefore he ended up on the other side of the shul. There's a famous story they say of the Alter Rebbe that they had to pad the walls of the shul because the Alter Rebbe was running from one corner and the other corner, and he would bang himself at the wall, and because of the great spilus in his davening, similar to what it says right here regarding Rabbi Akiva. A person should always daven in a base of Knesset that has windows. And the windows are open. I would think that a person should daven the entire day. It says in the pasuk in Daniel, the zimnin tlosa. 3 times a day a person davens. So the Gemara asks, I would think that this seder of davening 3 times a day only began after they came into Bavel, after they came into Golus. No, it already says there, that this was the seder that they did already before, even in the time of the first Beis Hamikdash, that they would daven 3 times a day, like we daven today, Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. I would think that a person could daven and face any direction, Talmud Loimar, Neged Yerushalayim, that a person should daven facing Yerushalayim. I would think that a person should have to spread it out in different parts of the day, Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv, you can daven it all together, everything at one time. So it already says in the pasuk by David, Erev or Vaiker v'Tzaharayim, that a person has to daven dafke Erev, Vaiker, and Tzarayim. I would think that when a person davens Shemay Nesrei, he should say the words loud, that you should hear the words he's davening. So it says when Chana was davening, when she davened, she said the words, and no one could hear the words she's davening, and therefore we daven Shemay Nesrei low. We learned about this already before, that Shemay Nesrei you have to daven low. I would think that a person first turns to the Eibishter and requests his needs first, and then and then following that he davens. When it says here the word yispal here means the aspect of davening where you give praise to Hashem and thank Hashem. First, ask what you need, and then praise or thank Hashem for providing. It's already said in the pasuk by Shlomo Melech that it's not the way you do it. So it says Rino before Tefillah. What's the difference between Rino and Tefillah? So in this context, the pshat is as follows. Rino zu Tefillah. Rino refers to singing to the Eibishter and praising to the Eibishter, which is the opening of the davening, which is the opening of our Shemay Nesrei. We first praise the Eibishter, our Keil, our God, our Giva, our Neira. And then Tefillah zu Bakosha. Then when it says Tefillah, it refers to the actual Tefillah where you're requesting your needs of Hashem. So therefore, ein oime davar achar emes v'yatziv. After you finish the bracha of Gal Yisrael, before you begin Shemay Nesrei, you don't say anything, any bakosha, before you start Shemay Nesrei. Aval achar atfilah, but after davening, which means after you finish the entire Shemay Nesrei, after you come tell the kindness there, I feel like you say the vidusha Yom Kippurim Aimer. If you want to add any of your own bakoshas at the end of Shemay Nesrei, you can add whatever you want. You can even say something as long as the video of Yom Kippur. It's Menami, so too we learned although it was said, yes, in the end of all the kindness, sir. A person may ask for any of his needs in the middle of Shemay Nesrei, by Shemay Tefillah, but in Baal Loima Achat Tefillah, so in the middle of Shemay Nesrei, even though you're allowed to ask for your needs, but it should be with a limitation. You shouldn't be maidach over here. But when it comes Achat Tefillah, after the kind of tzar, then I feel like you say the Shayam Kippurim on any day. If a person wants to add anything, any of his own bakashas, even as long as the Seder of Yom Kippur, you could add it. Now, the rest of the sugya today we're going to learn. Most of it is going to all talk about the story of Chana, where she asked for her son Shmuel, and the whole hemshech of the story. Let's see. Amar Rav Amnun, so Rav Amnun said, Hama hilchasa givratsa ikula mishma mahanikroi de Chana. Many very significant halachas could be learned from the psukim that it says by Chana. What does it say there? Chana hi midaberes al libo. Chana was speaking in her heart. Mikan, from this expression, al libo, we see lemispalol tzarich sheyichav libo. That the main thing in tefillah is the kavanah of the heart, not the words that you express, that you say, but the kavanah in the heart is the main thing. Then the pasuk says, Rak sifaseho no'os. Her lips were moving. From here we see that a person then davens, he should enunciate the words clearly, that even though he's davening, the main thing is the heart, but still you have to say the words clearly. Then it says, that her voice wasn't heard. From here we see that a person should not raise his voice when he davens from an esrei, he davens quietly. Then the pasuk says, when Eli saw Chana davening, he thought that she was a shikaira, she was intoxicated. So what was the problem? So, and if she is intoxicated, so mikan, from here we see, a person that's shikir may not daven. And then Eli says to her, how long are you going to be intoxicated for? Rabbi Elazar says, mikan, from here you see, if you see a friend doing something that's inappropriate, you should rebuke him for it. Right? Okay, and Taisa says, in any situation, there's something, if you know that you could, the point of here is, if you see something that your friend is doing that's not appropriate and you could influence him, try to influence him, be mechiach him. Pasuk says, Chana answered, and she said, Lo yadaini, no my master, you're not understanding what's going on. So she uses this expression of Lo yadaini. So the Gemara will say two pshatim of this. She said to him, you are not a master in this matter. Ruach HaKodesh is not resting upon you. That you are suspecting me being a shikaira. Some others said, interpreted this differently. This is what she said to him. She was wondering. She said, aren't you a master? You, Eli, don't you have Ruach HaKodesh and the Shechina? That you're judging me negatively, and you did not judge me favorably? Don't you know the Ishak Shasruach? I am a woman with a very difficult spirit, with a very broken spirit. I haven't drunk any wine at all. That's what she was. Yes, I'll share if I have a moment. I'll share the Sikh of the Rebbe. Omar Rabbi Elazar, so Rabbi Elazar says, from here we learn something else, that if you are suspected of something that you didn't do anything wrong, don't keep it inside, don't be humble and then don't respond. You have to notify that it's not true. Okay, so on this section, as Shimshon just said, there's a famous sikh of the Rebbe. I'll just repeat the point to Kitzer. When Eli was suspecting her of being a shikaira, Eli was wondering, she's standing here in the Beis HaMikdash, in the holiest place in the world, and what is she worried about? She's worried about her own personal needs. True, having children is something that's extremely, extremely touching and close to a person's heart, and something that she was asking for. But still, when you stand in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the only thing you should be near the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the only thing you should be worried about is the Eibishter. That's not a place that she should be so involved with herself. She wasn't stam davening. She was engrossed and totally involved in her own feelings that she wanted. So she's answering, Eli, no, you're not understanding. When it seems like that I'm so involved in my own personal needs, it's not for a selfish reason. I want children in order to dedicate my children to the Eibishter. Like she promised that whatever children I have, I'll dedicate them to the Eibishter. So my own personal needs are the Eibishter's needs. It's not my needs. I'm not intoxicated with my own personal needs. That gufa is the Eibishter's needs, so to speak. That gufa is all for the Eibishter's sake. That was the conversation over here, which is similar to the idea of Kavod Reish that we spoke about yesterday, correct? Dr. Gemara weiter, the Chana continued and said, don't allow your maidservant to be given to a wicked man. Amar Rabbi Elazar, a person that davens is as if he is served Avodah Zarah. Why? Because that she should be together with wicked people. And by Avodah Zarah it says, wicked people have come out from amongst you. The expression of Belial refers to Avodah Zarah. Khan over here as well, someone that's a shikr and faces Hashem to daven is also an Avodah Zarah. Okay, so Taisus over here says that this refers to a shikr that cannot speak clearly. That there's different levels of intoxicated, and not it's important Shulchan Aruch. Only if a person mamish is totally shikr, then it's also to daven. Right, and the pasuk it says over there, Vayan Eli Vayomer, and Eli answered and responded to her and said, "L'chila shalom, go in peace." Amar Abalaza, from here we see, if you suspected your friend of something that turns out not to be true, you have to appease him, you should bench him. Because over here we see that Eli appeased her and said, go in peace, and he added, and the Eibusha should give you your request. Pasuk continues and says, and she made a vow, and she said, Hashem tzvois, Hashem, and she referred to the Eibush as tzvois. So here's the famous Gemara that Rebbe speaks about in the Maimonim of Batzi Legani. We've been learning about over here in the Chassidus share for the past month. There wasn't an individual that referred to the Eibush with this name tzvois, until Chana came along and referred to the Eibush with this name, with this title of tzvois. What was Chana saying when she used this term tzvois? She said as follows: Master of the universe, from all of the many legions of malachim that you created in all of your world. Is it so difficult for you to give me one child, one son? The example for this would be as follows: the Melech Basav Adam, a king of flesh and blood, that has made a big meal for all the servants. Comes one poor individual, he's standing outside at the door. He tells the people that are inside, give me one piece of bread. And they don't pay attention to him. He pushed his way in and he got to the king himself. So Amalei, he says to the king himself, Adaini HaMelech, my master the king, because Sudasha Asisa, from the entire meal that you've made, Kasha Beinecha Litli Prusa Achas, is it difficult for you to give me one piece? So when you're able to push your way to the king itself, like the famous expression of the Alter Rebbe, so then you can surpass all the madregas of Seder Shtalshus in between, and then you can be Mamshach HaShpa, and all other levels prevent that Hashpa coming down. The Rebbe explains in a Sikha, B'Keshek Kedefinyan, that what was really happening over here is Chana was requesting something which was L'mayla Min HaTeva. The Rebbe points out, why do we dafka learn many halachas of tefillah, as the Gemara said before? Significant halachas of tefillah we learn dafka from Chana. Because really the whole inyan of tefillah is to break teva. As we know the difference between tefillah and bracha. The idea of a bracha is to draw us in the source. Tefillah is yihi ratzon, that a person can create a new ratzon and break teva. Chana was breaking teva on all levels. Number one, she was an akara, and therefore, al pi teva, she couldn't have any children. And second of all, as we'll see in the Hemshech of the Gemara, she asked to give birth to a tzaddik. And we know that tzaddik v'rasha lo ka'amar. Al pi teva, there's b'chira chavshis, and a person is not born a tzaddik, and he has to choose on his own to be a tzaddik. She asked to break the teva al-eilam, that she's a akara, she should have children, and break even the teva of teira, so to speak, that she should give birth to a child which is a tzaddik. And therefore, this is a unique. This really expresses the essence of what tefillah is about, more than any other inyan of tefillah that we find in Tanakh. And this is over here what the Gemara is saying, that the emes inyan of tefillah is that a person can break through all levels and go directly to the Eibusher himself and draw down a new aram shocher, which is l'mayla min hateva, the power of davening. Dr. Gemara weiter, imroi tira, she used a double expression, imroi tira, if you'll see me, you will see me. So why does she use a double expression? Chana says to the Eibusher, Ribono shel Olam, Master of the universe. Imroi mutiv. If you'll see me, so then good, so I'll have children. V'im lav tira. If not, I will, so to speak, force you to see me. How? Eilech v'estater. I will go and conceal myself. In other words, I will go in a private place with another person that's not my husband. B'fnei Elkanah baili, that my husband Elkanah will see this. And then the kivin the mistatarna. If I'm going in a secluded place with another man, so then what's the halacha? Mashkuli mesaita. They will give me to drink from the waters of the saita. Via ta'isa terascha plaster, and you will not turn your taita into falsehood. So I'll drink from the waters of the saita, and you have to fulfill what you wrote in your taita. Shanamar, the pasuk says, v'niksav v'nizra zera, that a woman that has secluded herself with another man and did not do an aveda will have children. So she says that she's telling the Eibusher, that she'll have children. So the Gemara asks on this. So this would work according to the opinion that says that if she was an akara, a barren woman, she'll have children. So this will work. But according to the opinion in all this means is that a woman that was giving birth with pain, will now give birth without any pain. Nekavis was having in Nekavis Yoledes Chana. We'll now have boys. Shchaydim, if they were dark skinned, Yoledes Levanim will have fair skin. Ksadim, if they were short, Yoledes Aruchim will have children that are height and tall. So, but a person that's a barren woman will not be helped in such a situation. So, Maya Kilamema, what would we answer? What was she saying here with this double lashon? And the Gemara brings the Braisa. The Tanya we learned in a Braisa. The Niksov and Nizra Zera, that shall have children. What is the pshat in this? Melamed Shem Hoisa Kora Nefkedes. Dir Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says that she's a barren woman, she'll have children. Rabbi Kiva disagrees. He says, in Cain, Yechul Kola Akaris Kulan, all barren women will go, V'yisatru, and will seclude themselves with another man, and the Zusha Lekilkala, and the one that has not actually sinned, Nefkedes, will be remembered, will have children. Does the Torah want such a kind of anhagya? Ela Melamed, so rather what this teaches us is, Shemai Yoledes B'tzar, Yoledes B'reva, Kitzarim, Yoledes Aruchim, Shchayrim, Yoledes Levanim, Echad, Yoledes Shnayim. If you had one child, you'll have two, as we said before. So according to Rabbi Kiva, Ma'im Roi Tire, what's the pshat in this double lashon of Roi Tire? According to Rabbi Kiva, the Gemara answers, Dibra Torah Kaloshim Neyada. The Torah is simply using the language and expression the way people speak. People use a double expression. Huh?
It's not really a solution. So most people
not really a solution. Okay.
People are having difficulties who also go.
Okay, there's a sikha from the Rebbe about that in somewhere. In the Chelik Chof Test. Take a look in that. But there's a sikha from the Rebbe about that. So the Gemara weiter. We continue now with what Chana said. Ba'ani amasecho. See the poor situation of your maidservant. And then she said again, do not forget your maidservant, and you should give your maidservant. So it says 3 times. The 3 expressions of maidservant. Lama, Omra, why did she say this? Lama, sorry. Why the 3 expressions? Omra, Chana, Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is a famous Gemara that the Rebbe quoted many, many times. The Beinu Shalayla, master of the universe. Shloisha bitke misa barasa. There are 3 ways that the Eibishter inspects a person to see in situations whether he's liable to chas v'shalom be chayiv misa or not. Amrila always used another expression. Shloisha divke misa. There could be 3 things that bring a woman to be connected to death. Really, to say the same thing in the positive means there are 3 mitzvahs that a woman has that will save her from death. That's really what it means. What are those 3 mitzvahs? The Eluhain, Nida, Chala, and Adlokas Haner. The mitzvah of Nida, which is Taras HaMishpacha more in general, and Chala, the mitzvah of taking Chala, and Adlokas Ner, lighting the Ner Shabbos. Which the Rebbe always mentioned in connection to his mother, Chana, which is Chana over here as well, which is the Rosh Tevis of Chala, Nida, and Adlokas Ner. The 3 basic mitzvahs of a woman that save her and the mitzvahs that she has. Chlom, Avarti Alachas Mehem. Was I ever over on any of these? So in this chus, I should give birth to a child. She said, and you should give to your maidservant Zera Anoshim. So she used the expression that the child should be Anoshim. What does this mean? My Zera Anoshim. What does this expression mean? Rav said, Gavre beguvrin, a man amongst men, who should stand out amongst men. Shmuel says, Zera, he should be a child, that will in the future anoint 2 men. Who did she anoint? Shaul, she anointed Shaul as a king and David. Rav Yechanan says different. Zera shashakul kishnei anoshim. A man that will be as powerful, as great as 2 other great men. Umaninan, who are the other 2 great men? Moshe v'Aaron. Shmuel was as great as both Moshe and Aaron together. Shenema Moshe v'Aaron b'chayanov, and right after that it says Shmuel v'kodesh Shmai. Shmuel is amongst those that call out your name. So Shmuel is equivalent in his sitkus to Moshe and Aaron. The Rabbanan Amri, the Rabbanan say no. Zera Anoshim. You know what Zera Anoshim means? Zera Shemuvla Ben Anoshim. A man that's amongst men. That he should be regular. He should be like everybody else. There should be nothing wrong with him. He should be a regular man. When Avdimi came, he explained this. Loi Oruch, he should be extra tall. Loi Gutz, not a midget, not too small. Loi Cotton, not too thin. Loi Alon, not fat. Loi Tzacher, Loi Gicher, not too fair, not too dark. Loi Chacham, not too wise either. Loi Tipish, not a fool. So Rashi explains the issue of being too wise is that then it's a Tema Beinei Abriyas, a person that's like a prodigy child, that's like gifted, whatever. Yeah, it could be a source of Ein Hara. That's what she was davening for. Sagt die Gemara weiter, she continued, Ani ha'isha hanitzeves imocha bezeh. I am the woman that stands with you here. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, mikan she'asel leishev b'toich arba ames shel tefillah. From here we learn that it's asur to stand in the arba ames of a person that's davening. Elanar, now we come to the conclusion of the story. Elanar azeh hispalolti. She says, it's this child that I davened for. What was she saying when she said that? It's this child that I davened for. Amar Rabbi Elazar, so Rabbi Elazar said, Shmuel, yes, it did. Shmuel, Meira halacha lefnei Rabbi Hoya. What happened was, Shmuel taught the halacha before his teacher, and you're not allowed to do that. Shenemar, as the pasuk there says, Vayishchetu es apar, in the Beis Hamikdash there, they shechted the ox, and then Vayaviru Sanar al Eli. They brought the lad, they brought Shmuel to Eli. So the Gemara asked, what exactly happened there? Because they shechted the par, Heviu Nar al Eli. They brought the nar to Eli. What's the connection? El Arav, the pshat over here is as follows. Amalahan Eli. Eli is said, Kiru Kayin, bring a Kayin here, Laisi. Let him come, Bilishchai, and let him shech the carbon. Okay? Because Eli said you need a kayin to shech the carbon. So then Chazinu Shmuel noticed, a young lad Shmuel noticed that they're looking for a kayin to shech the carbon. Amaluhu, so he said to the people that they were looking for a kayin, why do you need a kayin to shech the carbon? We know that shchita ksheida bizarre ksheida. The shchita can be done even with a person that's not a kayin. So I sula kamei de Eli. So they shechted the carbon, but then they brought him to Eli and they said, you said we need a kayin. And Shmuel says you don't need a kayin. So they brought him to Eli. Where am I over here? I sula kamei de Eli. Amalei. So Eli says to Shmuel, Minalacha, from where do you know this halacha that you don't need a kayin? Amalei, so Shmuel said, Mikse v'shachat hakayin. Does it say in the pasuk that the kayin should shech? V'ikrivu hakayin. It only says v'ikrivu hakayin, which means mikabala v'elech mitzvah kahuna. Only from when you receive the blood in the vessel, that from that point it's the mitzvah of the kayin. From here we see that the shechting of the carbon itself can be done even by a zar, not by the kayin himself. Amalei, so Eli told him, what you're saying is true, it's right. But Mio, however, you're teaching the halacha in front of your teacher. And we know that one that teaches the halacha in front of his teacher is chayiv misa. It's one of the reasons that Nadav and Avihu were chayiv misa at the Mishkan. So now, Asya Chana v'katzavcha kamei. Chana heard this and came and was screaming and said, Ani Aisha nitzeves imocha bezeh. I'm the woman that's standing here, and I'm the one that davened over here for this child. Amalo, Eli said, Shafkili, leave me alone, leave me the answer that I should punish him. Ubeina rachmi, and I'll daven for you. Maybe she will give you a better child. Rabbi, a child is greater than this one. Amar alei, so she says to Eli, Elanar azeh hispalolti. No, I davened for this child. Okay, one more thing over here. Chana was speaking about liba. So the Gemara will say now that she was speaking about liba, about her heart. She was speaking about her heart, which means as follows. Master of the universe. Everything that you created in the body of a woman is not for naught. Einayim lidois, eyes to see, as nayim l'shmaya, ears to listen, to hear, chaytim l'riach, a nose to smell, pele daber, a mouth to speak, yadayim lases, hands to act with, behem malacha, to do work with them, raglayim lahalech, feet to walk with them, and dadim lahanik behen, and the dadim, the breast of a woman, is to nurse children. Dadim alalu, shenasato alibi lamali lahanik behen. By me, if you're not going to give me any children, so then it's purposeless. I won't be able to nurse a child. Tenli ben, give me a child. V'onik ben, I will be able to nurse a child. Okay, this is the conclusion of the story of Chana. Do we have some time still? Yeah. Okay, so let's continue to the... There's another shtickle over here also connected, also with Chana. Let's finish at the top of Lamed Beis. This is another statement which is not connected to Chana, but it's the same Amida that was mentioned before. So he said, one that fasts on Shabbos, the Eibusher rips up a decree against him of 70 years. And what's the reason? Why is fasting on Shabbos so great? Because everyone else is eating and enjoying Shabbos, and this person is holding himself back of eating even on such a kind of day when everyone else is eating. But however, he still deserves a certain judgment for this, because Einik Shabbos, Din Einik Shabbos. Din Einik Shabbos. David still looks at him and says, why didn't you fulfill the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos? So Maita Kante, how should he correct this? He has to fast on Sunday to be mechaper for the fact that he fasted on Shabbos. And Taisus over here says it doesn't refer stam to a person that chooses to fast, it refers to a person that's fasting for a tainis cholim. One more thing over here about Chana. Chana, when she spoke to the Eibishter, she spoke in a, how should I say this? I don't know the exact actual v'ticha dvarim. She spoke sort of in a chutzpahlige manner, with a very strong expression, almost like in a chutzpahlige manner, like Abed Eibishter. Shenema v'tispalel al Hashem. It doesn't say, usually it says el Hashem, over here it says al Hashem. She was speaking like very strongly to the Eibishter. Malamed she'ticha dvarim klapi ma'ila. She spoke with very strong words, demanding of the Eibishter to give her a child. Rabbi Elazar says Eliyahu as well, hitiach dvarim klapi ma'ila, also spoke in this manner. Shenaman, as it says, va'ata hasiboisa es liba machiranis. Eliyahu was, so to speak, blaming the Eibishter and says, in his time period, when Yidden were over the Avodah Zarah, it's all your fault. You gave them a Yetzirah, and therefore the Yidden are sinning. Rab Shmuel bar Rab Yitzchak. So Rab Shmuel bar Rab Yitzchak says, the Eibishter came and admitted to Eliyahu's argument, because the pasuk there says, I am the one that caused you to do bad because the Eibishter gave Yidden a Yetzirah. So the Eibishter agreed to Eliyahu and Navi in this case over there.